Hello and welcome back to Primo Calcio. Today we're going to be covering match day 24 of the Serie A. I am Michael here with Anthony. How you doing this week?
Yo, great. So great.
So
That's
great.
it.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's a lot of
there's
there's been a lot of matches. It's a lot of stuff to watch.
there's a ton of stuff going on. Midweek
A lot of
stuff
teams
right
dropping the
now.
ball. Teams dropping the. No one wants to win this thing. It just hot
No,
potato.
this is going to go down to the end. This is going to go down to
Hot
the
potato,
end.
baby.
I thought that it was looking like Inter and Napoli were going to pull away further, but it doesn't really look like it because now all of a sudden Atalanta is starting to kind of catch back on now that
Yeah.
Retegui's back. So, um it's tight
Yeah.
for top for the champions, and it's gonna be tight for the top four race till the season
It's
ends. So
tight is the word, baby.
that's right.
That's how everyone likes it, anyways.
We're gonna play a game, and this
Yeah.
game is for the people. This game is called Find Bernabe. Okay, this
Yeah.
is the first
Each
week of,
week.
of Find Bernabe. You have to find him in the thumbnail. This one's
Mhm.
easy, but just starting off with a little simple one here.
Yeah. Each week you got to find Bernabe. I like this game. Don't tell me either. You make the thumbnails. I don't want to. I want to
Yeah,
have the fun
you can
too.
find Bernabe too.
Yeah.
I mean, this one is obvious. We're just letting it be there. That will be the image.
Yeah. This is what it'll look like. Yeah. Yeah. I like it. This is a good idea.
All right, let's get cracking. So we start with the makeup match of Fiorentina versus Inter. I think it was a bit of a surprise at how this game went. I thought it was going to be
Oh
a
yeah.
tighter game. Fiorentina, I thought did pretty well in the winter mercato, 3-0, and it looked all of 3-0.
Oh yeah. They spanked him. It was a proper spanking. It was beautiful. Kane was awesome. I thought Ranieri. I know he scored a goal, but before that too. I mean, he was just really, really, really good. I mean, he was having a great freaking game. So
Um,
hell yeah, baby. And that's that was a good formation. I'm sure some of it was makeshift to come out and run it like that. I think a lot of it was necessity. I mean, he's been running. It's not that much different than what he's running in the first place, but it definitely worked out. I like that he had the side backs in the midfield spots. It kind of fucked with what's his face, DeMarco. He couldn't do shit. Their wing backs
yeah,
were
DeMarco was very
right.
very
Yeah,
much neutralized this game.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, they just dominated them, and I think that game to game, I didn't know when they played them again, I really didn't see them taking two matches from Inter. I thought Inter would truly
No,
get
I was
both
just
and let
hoping
the
for at least one
uh,
tie,
uh,
but I'm happy with the win. That's for sure.
yeah, we're seeing the Mandragora thing in the middle. That has definitely been the solution. So, hey, we were right about something.
Yeah, he seems to have been working. However, I think
Yeah,
that's going to be eventually. It's going to be the staple for me is going to be Fagioli. I think he's going to slowly work his way into being the one that doesn't get replaced, and then it'll just be everybody else working around him. Whether it's a Mandragora, whether it's Adli, whoever's going to be playing next. But I think Fagioli is going to cement his place in midfield. We'll talk about
I
that
think
more
so.
with the
Yeah,
second game because that's where he
yeah.
gets minutes. But first game. Um, I thought that it was a little bit unique how Inter had a ton of possession. And usually their team likes to play it on the counter, but they did nothing with it. They had 70, let me see, 70 something, 72%,
92%.
but only 2 shots on target. Fiorentina had 6 shots on target, so they almost played like the Inter game, which
It's the
was
most
nice to
overrated
see.
stat, and this was a big thing that these hipster fans that watch Premier League and watch the coverage on Paramount Plus. They give a shit about things like possession. That doesn't matter. It's what you do with your possession that matters. And what Fiorentina did with 28 possession was they scored 3 goals. What Inter did with 72% is 0.
Yeah,
It's about the quality and what you do with the possession, and it doesn't matter how much of it you have. It's such a stupid. I don't know what happened in modern times why it got to be such an obsession, but possession is totally overrated.
it is. I mean,
I think
it
we've
depends
realized
on,
that.
on how you're playing, but they had the same amount of shots too, 11 to 10. It's basically the same. So no, that was a game. So 2 goals from Moise Kean and then one from Luca Ranieri. And then
Got to
big
bury,
3 points
baby.
for them. Now we move
Huge.
on to the rest of
More
the
importantly,
what's that?
no points for Inter in a
Yeah.
critical battle.
Yep. I mean, most of this is about like Inter versus Napoli and seeing what they're doing, and both teams slipped up a little bit in different ways, of course, but they
Yeah.
both slipped up a little bit. So this was
Oh,
the
they
first
slipped
slip up
up.
from Inter. I thought Shahanoglu did not look good in this game, and I think he's
Nope.
a very very crucial piece of this team because when he's out, Aslani cannot carry that torch. Zielinski is a little better at it, even though he's not really a deep line playmaker. He's been covering a dash there, and he does look okay, but it's still not good. So
Zelensky's just a much better player than Asllani, but it's totally out of position. Zelensky looks like a player. This is what a player out of position should look like. You can still see his quality. You can still see his class. It's just not doesn't
yeah, he just
suit his
doesn't
skill
belong there.
set.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. That's what a player out of position. He's not supposed to. He doesn't. It doesn't mean he completely sucks. He's doing a good job. He just that's not his skill set.
Como Juve.
Oof,
Very close
ugly.
game. Very, very close
Yeah,
game. Juve pulls it off with a penalty in the 89th minute. Double
yeah.
goals from Kolo Muani. First goal was quite good. Penalty,
The
I
first goal was
know.
awesome. The first goal before we get to penalties because there was a whole bunch of people
Yeah.
crying about this. So Kolo Muani, so Dosena I think is a very good player. He had a good game too. I mean, one on one with Kolo Muani. Kolo Muani just you know smoked. He got just enough space to put a shot on net. I don't think the keeper did a very good job. It was a tight angle, but it was an absolute rocket. Good job, Kolo Muani. And then what's the next? What was the second goal for Como?
Sundial.
Oh, that was the back. That was the back post, right?
I remember this one.
That was a oh yeah no. Check out this back post goal. We talked about it in the last podcast. This is why you got there are so many of these again this week. Back post goals.
I'm watching right now here. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Back post goal. Nobody's marking him.
No
Absolutely
one's
zero
even
people
there.
marking him. Yep. Wide
No one's
open.
even there. Yep. And this was the one the Coop Miners got absolutely
Yeah,
lost.
that's right. That's right. I remember he was marking Cutrone. Cutrone, who is a center forward,
Yeah,
is
dude.
just beating him like he's a winger or something. Because Coop Miners
Dude, it's so
overcommits
bad.
behind him. It's a strange
It's
place
so
to.
bad.
He doesn't know about like angle of pursuit. Even as a kid, you're
No,
taught about
he's
this. No matter what sport, about
yeah.
angle of pursuit to look where the danger's coming from. He doesn't know that. That's
I've
for
never
sure.
seen he may be the biggest flop I've ever seen because not because of just him, how much he's played
How
and
much
how
he's played,
many
how
different
much he came for.
positions.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
factors. I mean,
Yeah, they put him in this is now the third time he's played in the double pivot. He is so we had no midfield presence.
no.
Zero. This is why Como was able to take control of the game. I mean, they really did. They looked like the better team for most of this game. I mean, we got very lucky at the end, truly. The handball on Gatti, that's not a handball. Come on. There has to be some kind of interpretation here where it's
Oh, you
it's
mean
it's
like
not
where
just
he like the head punch? It's pretty.
no. Right before that, there were people are crying about a handball from Gatti. That's not a handball. There's a play just before that. What's his name? Fabregas bitched about it.
Oh, I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Now,
yeah,
if you're
yeah.
gonna call that soft ass penalty that Juve got, then yeah, you probably should have also called that handball because it did touch his hand technically.
I know that's pretty weak
It's
though.
like
But I mean,
it's so
so
weak.
is
It's so
the
weak.
penalty though.
Yeah, it's the weakest penalty I've ever seen. I mean, that's not a punch to the
It
head. That
definitely it
two
definitely
players went for the
grazed his
ball.
head. It was fine.
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, when a grown man has to go onto the ground rolling and writhing in pain and screaming, and then it's okay 2 seconds later.
Yeah,
That's just
something's wrong. Yeah,
pathetic, dude.
exactly.
Yeah, like that shit's got to leave the game. It pisses me off so much. It's embarrassing, shameful behavior, and then you get a reward for it.
Well, that's
That's
the
no,
biggest
no.
issue. Is because yes, it's bad that they do it, and I can't stand it. However, the refs could stop this. If they just stop calling these things, the players will eventually learn and they just won't act anymore. It's just way too much. I mean, you get more attention if you roll around, and it's really become brutal because it's in every single game now. So
It's insulting. It's insulting to the referee because it's almost like a child lying to you the most obvious way. Like, hey, I didn't steal the cookie. It's like, well, you have cookie crumbs all over your shirt. It's like, don't roll on the ground and look at me. And I saw damn well what just happened. I know that doesn't hurt. I'm a
yeah,
grown
but
man
but
too.
then the ref calls it though. Like
Yeah,
that's
the
the
ref
problem.
calls
The
it.
ref
That's the
calls it.
problem. Yeah, stop enabling
He
this
should be
behavior.
dishing out yellow
Uh,
cards for like embellishment and play acting. That's what
yep,
should
I don't
happen.
think I totally agree. That's what I'm saying. It's like in the same way a ref would give a player a yellow card for complaining about a call. That's exactly what they should be doing when the guy rolls on the ground. It should be an immediate yellow flag, yellow card. You're rolling on the ground. Get up.
Well, especially because you have
Take
VAR,
five.
and there's so many
Go to the
times
sideline.
when like you'll see a player they'll get maybe like bumped in like the back or something, and they'll hold their side, or they'll hold a place that doesn't really
Yeah. Oh,
belong. When that stuff happens, I honestly think you should just straight up give somebody a yellow card. I maybe
oh
people
yeah.
think that's outrageous, but it would
No,
cut down all this fake play acting.
dude, they stopped the game for it. Like these
Yeah,
guys will lay on the ground until they stop the game.
but they get the
There was
call.
one
They get the
I
call.
was trying to take a picture of it with my phone, and I was too lazy to go back and like freeze frame it and do it. There was, and it was not the it was a different game. It wasn't the Fiorentina game. It wasn't the Juve Como game. There's another game. There's literally two guys from the same team lying on the ground with like within 3 feet of each other, and the play's still going on. And I'm like, I hope the other team fucking scores. This is ridiculous. Get up. But anyways,
Happens
long story short,
nonstop.
it's a shame. It's pathetic. Neither of those are penalties to me. But uh, hey, Kolo Muani gets the second goal. Buried a nice penalty.
Yeah, pretty
Juve,
composed.
gets a very needed sloppy win there. Juventus needs to get these sloppy games, and yeah, that was definitely
Yeah.
big help from the ref. But
He's
hey,
looking
whatever.
like I mean, if he can continue even close to this form, he's looking like he might be able to be what Juve needs to get into the top five, top four, and make sure that they secure themselves Champions League. We'll see if it's enough, but it's looking like it was a good purchase so far.
He's definitely he's doing less off the ball than I thought he would do. I thought he would do a little bit more of helping link up play. He's doing less of that, but he's been a lot more deadly with the few chances
Yep.
he's gotten than I thought he would be. So we'll see if it keeps going. I know that people are freaking out right now, and even like I think June police start already talking about signing him long term. It's like, guys, he's doing great. It's been
Yeah,
three
you
games.
got to get at least a couple more
Yeah,
games. Yeah.
this guy was a total bomb at PSG, and it's super
Yeah.
inconsistent throughout his entire career.
Yeah, very
Let's just
inconsistent.
give him some time. He's got a ton of talent. He looks
Exactly.
good right now. Give
Yep,
him,
and he might fit in Serie A very well. Like
yeah,
this might be
yes,
more his style. Who knows? I don't know.
yeah,
But yeah, you
yeah,
got to give it some time. You got to have season to
yeah.
figure it
Give
out.
it
You
some
know.
time. Let's not freak out. He's doing really well.
Next game up is an absolute blowout. Definitely blowout of the match day. Atalanta versus Verona. This was the Matteo
Oh,
Retegui show. He is showing how important he is to
yeah.
Atalanta. And he's definitely now pretty far ahead in the Capocannoniere
Yikes!
race. So
What a. Oh,
did
I
you know
mean,
that
there's not.
both teams had 19 shots, and then Atalanta had 7 on target, and then Verona had 8 on target.
No shit.
Yeah, even though it's 5-0, like they had some chances, but yeah, Retegui looked really
Yeah,
composed.
Retegui's is fucking awesome.
Smart
We
striker.
talked. Yeah, we talked about him in the summer, man. I mean, it just
He wasn't too expensive
no.
too. I think he was about like 20 mil, and
Yeah, 20 mil.
it's. I mean, where else are you gonna find a striker for 20
Yeah,
mil you can take a chance on? And I totally would have taken a chance on that type of guy,
I
right?
yeah,
Because he's a
absolutely
striker.
was
He's
on
not
my
gonna lose
list. Yeah.
value. And what is he? 23 years old. He's young, right?
You know what? I'm glad though. I'm glad he's not going to one of our teams because what would happen is he'd rot on the bench. If he had one bad game, the fans would fucking blast him, and he'd have a terrible career. He's on Atalanta. He's thriving. He's doing great.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's true. His last goal was fantastic.
I don't remember
That
that
was
one.
the best one. It was like a
I actually
pretty
think I
like
stopped watching it.
hard driving cross, and he just like perfectly angled it across goal. That was the best one. A couple of the other ones were kind of tap ins. That was the best one for sure. But
You gotta be in the right spot for those
that's
tap-ins,
right.
baby. You know.
He always has been so far. He is at
Yeah.
20 goals right now. Next is Moise Kean with 15, and then Marcus Thuram at 13.
Look at the Italians, 1 and 2, baby. When they say we didn't have strikers,
Yeah, and I think they are
and Luca
the
is there
hot
up there with
front
10.
runners for the national team. I think Luca should
Oh,
be
there's no
a
doubt.
sub. I think you take Retegui,
Yeah.
Keane, and Luca right now as
I
your three
yeah.
strikers. Drop Skamaka.
It's
He's not healthy ever, anyways. You got nobody else. Why not?
Let's go back as a turd, anyways. We'll see. We'll see what becomes of him. I like. Hey, we got. I think we have 3 productive strikers right now. This is great.
It's better than we've been in many years in the striker department. Or we
Definitely. Well,
move
it's our
on.
primary weakness.
Oh, for sure.
Empoli Milan.
Empoli Milan.
Now, I did
Very
not
unique
see this
game.
game. I had obligations, familial
I saw
obligations.
it. Milan did
Walk us
not
through it.
play well. Like they didn't look good at all for the longest time. Um, they just weren't getting much purchase. Empoli, I mean, wasn't doing great either. They weren't really like being very threatening,
Yeah.
but Milan didn't look good. eventually they finally break the deadlock with or actually I got to talk about the red cards. So first they give a red card to Tamori, who it was a foul for sure, but the guy was offsides, and that's supposed to take precedence. So it wasn't a viable red card. However, because VAR can't go backwards and evaluate like offsides for some reason, I don't know why that's a VAR rule, that
Yeah,
they couldn't
what are
evaluate
with
that.
these
So
rules?
I have no idea. It just seems like, hey, if the play shouldn't have been allowed to happen, then it shouldn't be a card. And it wasn't anything like malicious. It was a
Didn't
sloppy slide tackle, but it wasn't malicious, so there's no need to book for that. But he was offsides, so it shouldn't, in my opinion, it shouldn't have been a red card. But okay, if you're gonna play by the VAR rules, I guess I get it. The other incident was I forget who it was, but he stepped on Walker's ankle, like pretty rough. And
yeah.
and you've seen these types of things like given for red cards right
I think
away.
it's Kakashi, right?
I think so. Yeah, that's right. Then they gave him a yellow, and I'm usually not. I'm pretty hard on like the challenges. I'm like I don't care. Don't give cards. Get up. That's how I usually am. That type of stuff is dangerous and sloppy play, and he kind of got punished because Walker didn't put up a fuss about it. He didn't roll around. He didn't whine. He didn't open mouth scream. Because if he did, they probably would have given a red
Yeah,
card. But because he didn't, it goes back to what the refs do. That was actually a foul and should have been punished. So
maybe. I mean, sometimes you got to just let the guys play a little bit, dude. I mean, that shit's happened to me too. You'd actually probably half the time not even notice that shit. Like, trust me, Walker is not some fucking great nobleman. I- If he probably didn't even notice how bad it looked.
no,
If he would have,
there's
he
no
would
way
have
he
rolled
did.
on the
There's no
ground.
way he did. But
Right,
I'm
he
just
would have rolled
saying
on the
he's
ground
he's probably
for
not
sure.
like, I
Yeah.
don't know. Coming from the Prem, they do it a little less. That's for
Well,
sure.
yeah. I mean,
It
dude,
is
come on.
less.
I mean, okay. I'm a hockey guy, so when I watch Premier League, it
It's
still looks
different.
like a
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
bunch.
It's
So
it's
it's like a
different.
bunch of babies. Come on, dude. It's maybe slightly better. I mean, in my opinion, you're comparing turds, but no, I mean, we talk about this all the time. It's like we just talked about it a second ago. If they don't roll on the ground, they don't get the call.
Right.
And if you know, I,
That's really my point here. Maybe it was just like
I
an,
don't want them
an
to get the
honest
call for that.
mistake,
Just play,
right?
man. Yeah,
Maybe
just
it's an
play.
honest
Yeah,
mistake, but that was some like the big controversy here. Either way,
yeah,
I actually
whatever.
think that helped out Milan a ton. 11v11. I don't know if Milan wins this game because they were not breaking him down. Milan has very fast players. They got Pulisic, they've got Leao. They have very fast players. They can exploit space very,
Mm-hmm.
very well. They got Hernandez. They've got Jimenez. They're all super fast guys. And so once you take a player off of each side of the field, and it's 10v10 now, it really helped out Milan. And that's actually when they started to take over, was when that second one, the second card came out. I actually think if both of those cards just never ever happened, like if neither side was punished, Tamura wasn't punished and Gotcha wasn't punished, or I think it was, oh no, Marianucci
No,
got the red card. He
Kakachi's the
was
guy
fine,
that
yeah.
stepped on Walker's, and I mean, I saw the highlights, but I'm not gonna pretend like I saw the highlights, and I can
Yeah, I
probably
think
remember this.
Marianucci got the red, but if neither of those guys got that, I don't think Milan wins this game 11v11. They were playing terrible. So, anyways, Leao comes on, definitely helps change the game with this pace.
Yeah,
I thought Felix was pretty good the whole time, but wasn't really able to link up with Abraham very well. Jimenez came on, was definitely a pretty instant impact. And he didn't do too much. He lost the ball a lot. I thought actually he was relatively sloppy. However, when he actually needed to score, he cut in, made a very, very classy shot, and that's exactly the type of striker I thought he was going to be. I don't think he's going to be the most remarkable player all the time, but I think he's going to be pretty clutch, classy, and smart. I think he's going to be very similar to
yeah.
like a like Retegui type of player, a smart striker, which should thrive in Serie A. So the subs made the difference, that's for sure.
I yeah I've been a fan of Santi, so I think it's a good signing. I think that's exactly how you want your striker to be. You have plenty of creativity on this team. I think with your three guys across the attacking line there. And we'll see if Felix can keep it up.
I
I
think
guess
he's
he
going to
goes
do
to
really well here.
has to set a lot of
He's a very
places.
classy, silky player, and I think he is going to fit very well in Serie A.
Yeah, yeah, I
And
think
I
so
think
too. I think
the
this is
Prem
a
is too
good
fast
stop for him.
paced and it's too fast paced for him. I think
Well,
Serie A is more
yeah,
his
I
style.
don't care about shit like that either. Yeah,
Yeah, he can be crafty. He can take his time. He can get the fast runs from like Jimenez and Pulisic and Leao and play off of those guys. So I think he's actually going to thrive here.
yeah, we'll see too. Players like that are the kind of guys you need to break down those stingy teams. So as soon as he gets a little more experience, I think
Exactly.
he'll end up being good.
Yep. All right, so Milan gets a much needed win because they were
Yeah,
not
both
doing the
Milan and Juve get
best.
much needed wins,
Yeah, both those teams are fighting for that top four spot.
fighting for
So
their lives.
big win. All right, next we move on to Genoa
Genoa,
versus Torino. I
Torino.
think we called that one to be a tie, anyways.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, honestly, I was watching this game, but I just was in and out of it. It wasn't that.
Pretty
It was a
dry.
good. Yeah, it was a good tactical battle, I guess you could say. That's the PC way of putting it. But I think you know that's exactly how they're in
I
very
think
similar spots
Vieira
in
is
the
doing
table.
a good job still.
Yeah,
I think
they are.
Ricci played
He's
well. I thought he was very positionally sound there a couple times because I'm watching him for the national team and for Milan because I've been linked, but mainly I'm watching for the national team to see how good he actually is. But he's been doing pretty well this game. I liked his positioning. He stopped a couple passes that were cut across actually in the box. He was playing like a true D mid role at times. So I really want to see him right in
yeah.
the center of D mid. They made him play in like a double pivot and go forward a little more. I like when he just sits back in that role because he actually tactically seems pretty smart right now. That was a good game to see for him
Yeah,
at
Ricci
least.
is a good player. Yeah, no, yeah, I like Ricci a lot. He's a good player. I hope that yeah, he actually goes to a good team. But yeah, he looked good, and I'm ready to look good again. Yeah, it's a couple well coached teams, and they're 1 point away from each other in the table, so it was fine.
Hmm.
How it should have gone.
Next, it goes Roma versus Venezia. I guess another team that needed to
Yeah.
win, and they did because they have to climb now.
Hmm.
Not the most exciting of games. 1-0 Dybala berries. I think the penalty was
Hmm.
on Angelino, if I remember correctly.
Hmm.
I don't remember seeing anything great from this game. Venezia actually looked pretty threatening, which was surprising.
Yeah.
Since I don't think
No,
they're a great team, but they looked okay here.
Venezia is a good counterattack. They have a good counterattack, and I just think you know they've they have their moments in every game, and Roma has not been. Roma's been getting through it. They
Yeah,
have. We were looking at this right before. I said the top 8 teams all have the top 9 teams all have 3 wins in their past 5 games. Only 2 teams have avoided a loss and have 2 draws, and that's Napoli and Roma. Those are the 2 teams, and that's why Napoli's where they are at the table, and that's why Roma is making a very slow, gritty comeback here. But all the other teams were what had in the 2 games they didn't win were a draw and a loss.
yep.
So they
Next,
got
we
to win
move
these ugly
to
ones.
Cagliari and Parma. You have an own goal from Voliaco, and then a goal from Coman, and then Leone from Parma, but it wasn't enough. So Cagliari takes the win there. They move up to 24 points. They move further away from the drop zone, which is actually a pretty big win. They would have been on 21, which is only 1 point above Parma, and they further condemn Parma, who was a direct rival. Parma wins that game. They go to 23 points. Cagliari stays at 21. So a very big relegation battle remaining there. Um, yeah, so I did not see the game, but did
Wait,
see
wait,
the result and
say the
its implications for the drop zone. But I don't have much else to say about it. So,
no, I'm pumped about the next one though.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
take it away.
Lazio, Monza.
Yeah, Lazio played great, and it was nice to
Lazio
see
played great,
Pedro. Man, I
and
it was
yeah,
you called. He said, hey, they needed this guy back. I
yeah.
mean, he's a good classy player, man.
This is Pedro is the guy that's going to get them through, and he's been missing. And he had at the beginning of the season, he did this. He would come on as a sub, and he would provide clutch goals and assists when it mattered the most. Because Ravella, the entire team revolves around Ravella.
Yeah,
Okay, but
when he's
Ravella
not in,
doesn't score
Lazio does
goals.
not maintain possession.
Yeah,
They're
but he
so much
doesn't score
worse,
goals.
right?
He's not close enough to the net to make. So when Pedro's there, Pedro's that final piece that puts it all together. And man, what is he? 38 years old. I mean, there's no replacing him. When he decides to retire, I mean, they're
Yeah,
screwed
they're
because
gonna
no one
have
can
to
do what he
actually get
does.
like a quality finisher, also put in the work. But I mean, he's
So they got to
smart
do
too.
something.
The thing is,
Oh yeah, that's what I mean.
he's got a
That's
great brain. Like he can see the play happening ahead of him. He's not just a goal scorer. He also helps link up play very well. I thought Castellanos impressed me with how creative he was. He delivered a couple nice passes to Pedro, um, and that's kind of how he
Castellanos is
is.
not a striker. He's a second striker, attacking
Exactly.
midfielder. Castellanos is not a striker.
Right. They've been playing him
So,
there. He doesn't really fully fit.
yeah.
They still need one more guy up there when
Well, they
Pedro
got
leaves.
Noslin. I like Noslin. I like Diaz. Okay. I like I think
Diaz
Naslin and
overrated in my
Castellanos
opinion.
are fine.
He had one
Yeah,
really good season. I forget who it was for. It was like Salernitana maybe. I can't remember.
yeah. So that was Salernitana.
But and then he wasn't that good after that. Hey, he can bang in some goals, but that's not the guy. You're right though. Noslin does look good. He's pretty young too, right?
Yeah, yeah. He's young. Yeah, he looks good, man. I think they got to give him a little bit more, a few more opportunities. Dia has definitely has his games where he looks solid, but he's just so inconsistent. He's always been that way. I
Yeah.
think you know what you get with him. I think he's almost a better guy to bring in off the bench than Noslin. Noslin, I want to see him actually get more PT and try to see if he can't
And
cement a
they
place in the
subbed
team.
him in the 76th minute, which is
Yeah,
a bit late, and they were already up 4-0 at that
yeah,
point. Like what?
yeah,
What?
yeah.
Or sorry, yeah,
It's
or
weird.
sorry, 3-0 because one minute later they got a goal from Pedro, but still 3-0
Yeah,
against Monza. Give the guy some
yeah.
time, you know. Yeah,
This
it's
is
a bit
these are the
weird.
games that this guy needs to play more. And he's been the thing is he's been looking good,
Yeah,
especially in some critical games. He's played really well. So I don't know, but
and Nelson definitely has some promise. So yeah, give the guy got some more minutes
yeah.
when it's not huge, and we'll see.
It's nice to see Lazio rolling. I don't want them to be rolling right when they play Napoli because that's definitely Napoli. It was Napoli's Achilles heel last time, and I'm pulling for Napoli to win the Scudetto, obviously. But I think I mean just in general, I'm glad to see Lazio look good. I mean, it's a team I didn't want to see slip up. They were on a scary path for a minute there, but it looks like they're bringing it all together now. So yeah, Pedro, let's see. Hope he can stay healthy.
Next, we go to a team that really needed to win because they're in the battle for top four, and I
Oh,
just
these
don't think
guys.
they have it long term. I think they're going to be one who's going to float around there, but a couple losses, a couple things don't go their way, they're definitely going to fade away. That's Bologna.
Yeah.
They've been kind of like surprising me a little bit so far with how they've been able to stay in the hunt for things, especially with the team they have.
Hmm.
I've been impressed with the Italiano. However, games like this tell you everything you need to know. Lecce is not a great team, and this is a game you must win if you're
Yeah.
competing against some teams for top four, and they look terrible. They created nothing. I think they had two shots on goal, one or two. I can pull up the stats, but it was nothing. And the better chances I thought actually went to Lecce in this game.
Well, this is, in my
They
opinion,
look bad.
this is poor man management from Italiano, and he's a good coach, but he's got a lot of guys starting here that haven't played a lot. And when you do something like that, they're done with Champions League, so everything, and they never cared about in the first place. Why are you running this lineup in Serie A? This isn't your starting lineup. Who's your starting lineup? You know who those guys are. Stick with it. Quit jumbling things around. It's too late in the season for that now. You have to have your guys. This is a totally random starting lineup. I don't get it. I don't know why he's doing things like this at this stage in the season. This is a must-win game for them because it's a team that they should easily be beating. Taking them for granted like this is um, cockiness that they don't have any right to have right now.
Yeah, I
They have
mean,
work
these are
to
the
be done.
games they have to clean up because honestly, I think that now that like the big teams are in serious mode, I think
Yeah,
they're gonna struggle when against them. I think Bologna's gonna struggle when they finally play their makeup game against Milan. Milan is kind of starting to get better and better, especially with their signings. Bologna didn't really get much. You got what a Calabria, or that's not gonna do anything for their team. So like,
no,
I think they're gonna start to fall off. So they absolutely must beat the teams that are mid or lower table, and they're not doing that. So that puts
no.
them right next to Milan, and so that's gonna be a big makeup game.
The
Um,
one good note here for Bologna. Okay, um, Cambiaghi's back. He had a ACL injury, I believe. That's what he had. He had a pretty serious injury that kept him out for like this is his first game back all season. So I'm glad Cambiaghi's back. I like this player. So we'll see how he turns out. We'll see if the injury effed him up. But I like his game. So we'll see if he can be a contributor at Bologna.
see, but yeah, so far in the past like few weeks, they've blown games against Empoli and
Yep.
Lecce, so two big
That's
ones.
terrible.
Yep.
That's I mean, this is a team that had an absolute serious shot at Champions League again. With
Yes.
Milan and Juve stinking it up, Fiorentina and Lazio stinking it up. None of those four teams want to win.
No, they
None of those
had to
five teams.
take
Bologna doesn't
their
want to win.
they had to take their moments while those teams were struggling because they weren't gonna struggle
Yeah,
forever, and they're gonna
yeah,
find their form at some point. So
yeah.
now I think it's gonna be a little bit too late. They could surprise everyone and go on and beat Milan. I don't think they will, But that's going to be a very important game for top four, top
Yeah,
five.
you got to beat the teams you're better than that. You got to beat the teams you're better than. Simple as that.
Yep. We could say the exact same thing leading into this next game. That's Napoli versus
Yeah.
Udinese. Has
Ooh,
massive title implications. You called this one as a trap game. I think you actually
yeah.
were thinking it was going to be a draw. I thought they would pull it out. They did not. Napoli 1-1. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I figured it'd be a draw, man. This is it's the worst case scenario kind of happened to them. So, you know, Spinazzola going down and not being available for this match means that Mazzocchi and Juan Jesus have to be on the same side of that defensive line. And it doesn't sound like a big deal because Spinazzola is just a recent starter to the. I mean, he's been awesome. He's been better than Oliveira for sure. But Mazzocchi, I mean, dude, he's just not good. And then him next to Juan Jesus, it was a disaster all game. I mean, Taven looked like a world class player from the get go. So all game that they were struggling there, McTominay was working his ass off to cover for them. He still ended up contributing offensively. He was probably Napoli's best player. But I mean, dude, Udinese is a physical team. They're a pain in the ass, man.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and then Neres injury, which is massive because
Mhm.
now they don't have Kavara, they don't have Neres for a while, and it's looking pretty sparse up there. Okafor is not the guy. We were talking before this a little bit, and the thing that Okafor brought, not this year, of course, to Milan was that he kind of was a super sub. All of a sudden, he would just pop up and either tie or win a game randomly in his first first stint or first season at Milan. And if he could do that for Napoli and bag like a couple big goals that gets him 3 points, that would be worth the whole thing. Problem is, if he's going to be starting, I don't think that's where he's going to shine. I don't think he's going to be breaking down teams. He's not in good shape yet. He's too heavy right now. I know he's got to get more lean. And either way, even if he wasn't, I don't think he's that great.
No.
So you can't take the place of Neres, who's been one of their best players. I think
Yeah.
Napoli may be in a little bit of trouble here. We'll see if they can hold it together. Those are two pretty big injuries. That whole side is looking a little bit weaker. It's basically just McTominay holding that whole thing down now.
Well, Buongiorno's back, or so they say.
Yeah,
So he was
hopefully he's
supposed to be
actually
back
fully
for this
fit
game.
though.
Well, yeah, that's the problem. He was supposed to be back. He was supposed to be back for the game. Was it Roma? He wasn't ready for Roma.
Right.
Now he's not ready for Udinese.
I
So I
hope
don't know.
that they're not rushing it though, because that's a good
Yeah,
sign. Because man, when they rush people, they almost always get injured.
yeah. No, this is true. This is true. But we have a Scudetto on the line here. Okay, rush this guy back.
I don't know,
Although
man.
I don't like the injury he had. That was not something
Yeah,
that I'm
that's
fond
not an
of.
injury
I
that
think
that,
a lot
that
of
you
these
rush
injuries are
back.
bullshit. Muscle injuries. I mean, kiss my ass. Go play. Um, yeah, no vertebrae or whatever. I wouldn't fuck with that.
We'll
Yeah,
see. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I hope they don't rush him. I've seen it many times, but it was at least it's good to see that he's coming back. But I just want to see
yeah,
him play when everything's healthy. It would be ideal if Napoli actually started to get a lead in the game, like they're up maybe 2-0, and then you give him some minutes to get ready before he's got to start a whole game. I would love to see that,
yeah.
but
That would be
they
a
may
nice
not have that
plan.
luxury. So.
Yeah, it's yeah. There's definitely they had their opportunities. They just didn't put them away. We'll put it that way. I think McTominay right before he scored should have been a tap in and just roll off the ankle the wrong way.
Hmm.
But no,
We
I think that they could be in trouble with their lack of depth, their inability to, and
Yeah.
I don't think that a lot of fans are pissed they didn't make a big signing. I don't think a team like Napoli or any team for that matter should make a panic buy in January. Kvara screwed him. He really truly did. That was a dick move, and he put them in a tough spot. And Napoli's choices were completely overpay for somebody that isn't a guarantee because the guys that we're looking at weren't guarantees, but that's who was available.
No, that's true.
Or
They're not guarantees.
wait until the summer,
And get the
do it
guy you want.
properly, and get the guy you want. Yeah,
No,
that's
that's way smarter. For me though, and we talked about this, in our transfer review. The thing that kind of held, I don't think Napoli was terrible in the Mercato. They got a couple, depth pieces that they would need to fill in some slots, but I do think they needed one signing up there to really help out, and
yeah.
I think it's gonna bite them a little bit. Of course, this is before I knew about Neres'
Oh,
injury
it's gonna
because it
bite
just
him.
happened, but I thought even if they would overpay, it's probably worth it, and that's why I didn't think they had like the best Mercato. They don't have a player like Juve brought in, Kolo Muani. Milan brought in, Felix and Jimenez. They brought more than that, of course, but like there's somebody there who can like bag goals, who can contribute in that phase. And you just need that last little goal. They didn't get that at all. I mean, Okafor's not that guy. He might become that guy once he gets fit again for a couple goals, but yeah,
I
that's
mean,
we're gonna see
they were
how they
doing
cope
great
without
with
Neres, man.
they were the Spinazzola ones actually. Yeah, that's huge too.
It is.
Um, because he did a great job at left wing.
Yeah, he's a
When
big
he was asked
offensive
to play left
contributor
wing,
as
he did
well
not.
too. He's very classy in
Yeah,
the final third.
yes, Spinazzola is a very good player, and that's a big loss. So yeah, him and Neris on the same side.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now
yeah,
you
that's
lose
just bad.
both of them. It's
Yeah, yeah, man. This team has no subs to begin with. I mean, Conti did his best with what he had, and some guys stepped up to the plate. The rest of them didn't. I mean, now what are you going to do? I mean, they have okay. They got Raspadori, they have Gonge, and they have Okafor. These are their
it's
options.
not terrible. It's not terrible, but
Not terrible.
they're gonna have to clean up a lot
Okay.
of games here. So
Is Isaac? So they're going against Lazio next, right? Sakani is definitely better than those guys. Okay.
yes,
Dia and Isaacson. I don't know if they're
they're
better than
not
the other
better
guy.
than
Yeah.
Lukaku, of course, but I think
Right.
it's very equivalent. You got Castellanos up there too, who's good. I mean, you got Pedro coming on. No, it's pretty equivalent
Pedro's.
in attack.
That's the difference. Pedro coming on late in the game, and then who does Napoli bring on?
I mean,
That's your
nobody.
difference.
That's a problem.
Right. Yeah. Raspadori gets his one goal every once in a while. That's clutch, and then otherwise he does nothing.
Right.
Okafor, who the hell knows? I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
he's going to be a huge surprise. I'll say I've never
yeah.
liked him starting ever. I don't think he adds much as a starter. So I think that he needs to be a sub. He
Yeah.
can actually change a game and like if he gets 15 minutes as possible, but I never liked him as a starter.
That's a good. It's a good point though. Like he did have his primary contributions at Milan with uh, some clutch goals for them.
Yeah, he was
That got
also
them
when
a
he was
lot of
in shape
points.
though. He's been gaining some weight. He's looked more
Hey man,
sluggish because he's a fast guy, and now he's
you know
losing
he
that
should
speed
do.
with the extra weight.
If I'm Conte, I'm gonna have him go and hang out with Wes McKennie and say, "Hey man,
You can carry some extra pounds and still be sweet.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, Wes,
exactly.
how can you be fat and still kick ass? Like teach me, because I love pizza, but I also love to be good. You know, a good player. I
It's
can't do
because
both. How
McKenny's
do you
just a
do it?
player, man. McKenny is
Yeah,
just a
McKennie
player.
balls.
We
Yeah,
talk about it
yeah.
like he just plays,
He just
you know,
plays. He comes to play. Yeah,
which is
yeah.
awesome.
He doesn't give a fuck, dude. He just wants to play the fucking game.
Let's do a little rundown of the standings because it's getting pretty dang tight. So Napoli is only 1 point
Oh
ahead
yeah,
of Inter right now, 55-54. Atalanta is way closer than they were a few match days ago. They are
yeah.
now
Five
only
five
5 points
points.
off. That's 2 games, so they're back in it. I don't
14
think
games to
anybody else
play
is
too.
now.
A
Yeah,
lot of matches left. This is not. We're not towards the end yet here.
no,
This is
and
still a marathon.
with Retegui playing like this, if he stays healthy the rest of the
Mhm.
season, Atalanta actually has a shot at the Scudetto. It's highly
Yeah,
possible. So
they're
I
back
don't
in the
know.
game.
Yeah, they're in the game. Now we move into like the hunt for top four, which would be Lazio, Juve, Fiorentina, Milan, and Bologna. I don't think Roma has a shot at that, so I'm not going to include them. Um, Big makeup game between Milan and Bologna because we can't really give the full like picture of this because Lazio, Juve, Fiorentina all have played 24. They're on 45, 43, and 42 points. Milan and Bologna are at 38. If one team wins it, they're right behind those guys with
Yeah,
41 points. So I think that's going to be a pretty huge game.
it is. The team that wins that match is the team that's in that fight. And the way things have been going, um, the team that wins the most games against the smaller clubs will come out on top in that battle. I don't know why these teams keep sucking against these small clubs, but it's just it seems to be the nature of things in Serie A this year.
Oh, yeah.
So between Lazio, Fiorentina, Juventus, Milan, Bologna, they
Yeah,
need to
they
get
just
through.
can't seem to win
Yeah,
those games. Are like we consider them easier games, but they
no,
just can't seem to either care enough or put it together.
they just
Um,
don't care enough, dude. I mean, you know, like the Como game. Like, come on, man. It's the Juve Como. They just didn't care. Bologna, Lecce. They just didn't
but
care.
those are the
Eh,
games though that like that new signings can help you get through because they
Yeah,
should, if they have any ounce of pride, should be wanting to prove themselves. So it doesn't
I
matter
don't
who
know.
they're
They have.
playing. But I mean, like
They're making like $80 million. They don't care about that.
no, but like a new signing wants to show their stuff. I mean, like a guy like Jimenez comes on, right, and he's gonna be hungry to score a goal to show the fans his worth, right? So at
Yeah,
least that does help. I mean, it really does. You know, Felix has been playing well right up off the get go,
you're
and
right. You're right. Yeah, they
it
come out of
does
the
give you a
box
little
hot.
bit of yeah.
Yeah,
And now I don't know how that's gonna happen in 5 6 weeks, but at least for the first few, there's some
yeah.
serious motivation to
I
show,
mean,
hey, I'm a real player.
Colo's been looking good for Juve, so that's
Exactly.
true. They come out of the
Same
box
thing.
pretty hot. Yeah, yeah.
And it's already
No, you're
gotten
right.
them a couple really important points. So, well, if that
Yeah, it's made a
continues,
difference.
it's going to cause a big shakeup.
Well, Lazio didn't do much, you know. Fiorentina did some things. You know,
I
I
like
really like what
Fiorentina
they did.
signings. I mean, they're
Those
the
are more
the primo
long-term
calcio
signings to
team of the
me.
season.
They are definitely, no doubt. That's just the Primo Calcio squad. I mean, do you see how many freaking Italians they brought in? It was so cool.
It's
Good for them.
amazing. I hope so many of them make the national team.
Paladino's awesome. Good for
Oh,
him.
something I forgot to talk
We
about
didn't talk about the
before.
second match, by the way.
Yeah, let's talk about the Inter Fiorentina second match. They pulled it off
Yeah.
2-1. So they basically split points. 3 points for Inter this time. 3 points for Fiore last time. Fiorentina were way worse this round.
Well,
They
there's a
look
lot of
dead.
drama. There was a lot of crying, a lot of bitching, some of it warranted. Okay, let's just the main thing here. The ball that was completely and utterly
Oh,
out of
the
bounds, not
Bastoni
even
one? That was
close.
junk. That was absolute
Not
junk.
even close.
Yeah.
And they call it a corner for Inter. Okay.
Yep. And they
That
scored off
obviously
it. Scored off the corner.
we know there's a lot of suspicious shit. Okay. That is total bullshit. 100% agree. However, that should not affect how you mark on a corner kick. That wasn't the reason they scored. That was the reason they had a corner kick. Yes. You need to do better. No doubt. Stop bitching and whining about something you can't change now. That's shit you do after the game, but whatever can be done, blah, blah, blah. Every fan saw it, and even Inter fans, if they have any ounce of decency, they know that was garbage. Okay. But you got to still play the game. And this reminds me a lot of, do you remember there's a couple national team moments. 2002 against, oh God, was it Korea? Like same kind of thing. We spent the entire match whining and bitching instead of just dealing with it and playing. Like, you're a better team, just win. Stop bitching. And then the Suarez bite on Chiellini. Remember, he like bit Chiellini, and Chiellini is so interested in showing off the little tiny nibble mark on his shoulder, which is ridiculous. Like, this is why it's like this most ridiculous sport. It's so beta. A guy actually bites another man in a contest of macho-ness. This happened. Another man bit another man, and then that man proceeded to whine and scream. He doesn't turn around and punch him in the face like a man should. He whines and screams, and then they just can't get themselves organized and mentally settled to deal with the ensuing next round of play, and they concede. Like,
Yeah, it's
right, suck
it
it up.
really shows you about like the like mental fortitude of certain players. That's for sure. If they can kind of
Yeah,
refocus. No, I mean I agree. That was I'd say total junk. And especially this
yeah,
is a pretty huge game right now, right? With
massive.
title implications and top four implications. It's a massive game. And we know Fiorentina can handle Inter. Like they at least can compete against them. Um, so that was a pretty really junk call, and it's so easy to see from every angle. There's no debate there. It's junk. Um,
Yeah,
so I mean it is what it
total
is.
junk. Yeah,
Yeah.
but let's just say Inter dominated that game completely.
I will say
Anyway, so
this
it doesn't
though. I
matter.
will say this. When Fagioli came on, entirely different game. The
Yes,
Fiorentina midfield stopped getting dominated. He was very, very, very tidy. His positioning was great. He covered defensively well too. He's going to do well wherever you put him. I think he's always been a smart player. I think he can be a jack of all trades. And I don't know why Juve were so apt to sell him. I would have taken him anywhere. I would take him on Milan. I would take him anywhere. I think he's actually a very good player. And as I said earlier in the cast, I think he's going to be the out and out starter in a couple games. It's just going to take him a little bit,
oh,
but he'll get there.
Fagioli is a very good player. He
He's young
Fagioli
too,
did a
man.
stupid.
It's like with 23.
Yeah, Fagioli did a stupid thing. Okay, but a young player missed an entire season of the game, and then was paraded around. And they tried to make an example of him when he came back. They like did a fucking documentary on him. They called him up to the national team for no reason, and they were really stroking him. And it just, how confusing must that be for this young kid? And I'm not making excuses for the guy. He's an idiot and he's a rat. Okay, let's be honest.
Yeah,
But
he did rat out everybody else, but I mean, yeah,
yeah,
I
this
get
is
you. If we're looking straight
this
up for
sport.
playing wise,
Yeah, this sport has a very low standard for masculinity and I don't know, character. Okay, he has a lot of ability and he has a lot of presence on the field. He looked really good in that game. I think it was a huge mistake to sell the guy, but I'm really, really glad that Fiorentina got him. I think he's going to be an
No,
absolute
for
mainstay for that team.
for the national team, it's something that we've been saying a lot. Is, I mean, yes, we would always want these guys on our team because both of us do want an Italian core on our teams. However, with how our teams are these days, Milan and Juve, they're just not
Get
going to
rid
get
of
the
him.
light of day. And then if they do play a couple games, three good ones, then one awful one or one bad one, they're done. They're going to be lambasted because
Oh yeah,
people are going to say they're only playing because of their flag. So they might as well go somewhere who actually appreciates
yeah.
them. I love that he's on Fiorentina. I thought he played well. I thought Zaniolo was decent. I don't actually like him that wide. I think they need to tuck him in a little bit more because he was drifting way too wide for me, and he doesn't have that
Mhm.
pace anymore. I think he needs to be like a second
Oh,
striker.
Zaniolo? Yeah,
Yeah,
he needs to get inside. Yeah, yeah,
he needs to be a
absolutely. He
second
needs to
striker.
be. Yeah, him and Goodmanson need to rotate. I think that's the
That's perfect
right
though. Start
move. Yeah,
Goodmanson, bring on
yeah,
Zaniolo to play there with Keane. Then I think that's where Zaniolo can play these
yeah.
days.
That's how that needs to work, in my opinion.
Yeah,
And he'll figure it out. Paulino knows what he's doing. He's been doing a pretty
yeah.
good job putting him
I
in the
think
right
Zaniolo
spots.
he's gonna play well here. I think he's gonna play well
Yeah,
here. He had like one decent game with Atalanta. He wasn't looking that great, playing in a weird striker formation. I think he's gonna do well at Fiorentina.
yeah.
So
I'm just glad the impact Fagioli had, like you said, it totally changed the game. It
it
reminded
was
me a lot
noticeable,
of
very noticeable.
that second France game when Locatelli was out there just it's funny they had the same problems that Juventus has with inability to make any sort of have any real possession, you know. And then Ravella comes out, game completely changes. Guy's open for the ball. He wants the ball. He's being available. His teammates pinched in. Who's
Yep,
available for a
yep.
pass? Boom,
He's
Ravella.
looking
He's
to help.
open.
He's calling for the ball. He wants
Yes,
to dictate. He wants. I mean, that's
yes.
such a
Those
crucial thing to have
when
as a
those
player.
guys are getting pinned. Yeah, exactly. And I think we were talking about it months ago, but it's like, when we play, isn't it nice when you have a guy in the midfield next to you where you're like, man, I'm fucking boxed in here, and boom, he's open. Hey, I know, got it. That's the kind of stuff that people who play understand, and that's why Ravella has such a good impact out there for Lazio. That's why he makes a big difference. That's what Fagioli really did
Yeah,
for
yeah, you
Fiorentina.
can
He's
see a lot,
available.
lot of
He's
that from
open.
him too. There
Yeah,
was
yeah.
very
That's
very nice like touches to a couple like deft touches. I don't mean just to be fancy, but to just like get the ball around a guy, deliver a very short pass to somebody to keep the play going. He was very good at that. So I was impressed. I'm
yeah.
excited to watch Fiorentina going forward. They've been my
Me
favorite
too.
team to watch this season.
Yeah,
So
same. Oh, yeah, Napoli and Fiorentina are the two teams that Napoli because of Conti and then Fiorentina because of the way they're building the team. And they're certainly building it for the future. Paulino's not doing this for a fucking
no,
penny.
I hope he stays there for a little bit. I hope he doesn't get snatched up
Yeah.
like Malta did it after like a
Oh,
good
I don't
season.
think.
So
Yeah, no,
we'll
Malta's
see.
not going anywhere. Malta will still be on Juve next
No,
season.
I mean
So,
like how he
yeah.
how he was off Bologna in like a season. He had a great season, then boom,
Oh,
they
yeah.
snatched him. I hope that probably stays there for a little bit.
Yeah, me too. I think it's best for these young. I think in general, in players, coaches, they're getting picked up too early in their careers. When we grew up, it was always like these
Yeah, you
players
need
would
a
get
couple years,
seasoned.
couple years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let these players season a little bit before. The problem is these EPL teams come in and buy them when they're like,
yeah, and then
sign of first pube. I think I said it last time. It's like, oh God, he's legal. Let's buy him. It's like, let him have a couple bad
well, and then
seasons
you're
first,
not gonna let
and then
off notes.
come
You're not gonna
back.
reject a huge offer, so
Yeah,
most teams are gonna accept that.
yeah. Everybody's gonna have ups and downs, and like you're just picking up a kid who's like 21. Every year he's gonna be the most amazing player ever. It's like let him go through, let him season a little bit, man. This is so
Yeah,
same
we
thing
are
with
we are
coaches. I
in
think
the
coaches
era.
especially.
We're in the era where you buy potential
Yeah,
rather than buying class, right?
exactly.
And that
Yeah.
because everybody's basically playing real life FIFA. They're trying to get the kid
Well,
before
that's what the fans
they
want.
explode, right? And it is what it is. So
Yeah, the fans don't care about anything other than this is a hot name. I want him on my team. I want to buy the jersey, and then that's all they want. So and these clubs, these people running the clubs, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're just throwing money around because there's just so much available. It's crazy, dude. It's
there's a
crazy
lot of money
times.
in the game.
Yeah, but no, that last game was definitely a total different look. Yeah, Inter took care of business.
Looked a lot better, but
Um,
yeah, they did get helped out quite a bit.
yeah,
Let's move to the next match day. We'll do a preview, then a little bit
yeah,
Champions League preview, and
big
so
match day again, man. Such a good season.
it's going to be intense the whole way through because there's
There's two
eight
massive
to nine
games, dude.
teams that we're watching their kind of progress. That's a lot. It's half a Serie A right now. So
Actually, there's two massive games, and there's one game that's like the 2.5 massive games, and it's the first on the list. The Bologna Torino game. Torino's a good team. Well,
I think Bologna
they're
is good.
they're
I
a
just have a
tough
feeling
team.
they're gonna mess it up. I have
They
a
are.
feeling that Bologna is gonna
That's
keep
what I'm
slipping
saying.
with like a
Yeah.
draw. They're not gonna maybe lose it, but they might draw.
See Torino's a team that plays hard.
Yeah,
They're physical. They're strong. And if they come out against Bologna, Bologna can't overcome that. Bologna's screwed. If Bologna should be able to beat Torino, but if Torino plays hard, I don't think Bologna has the character to overcome it. So
and
let's see what
Torino is a
happens
team
there.
who's
Trap
been
game.
very very draw heavy here. They got 10
Yeah.
draws right now.
Uh-huh.
Only teams that have more is Bologna and Juve. So
Trap game.
I'm seeing a
1-1.
draw here. Yeah,
1-1.
I'm going with
Yep.
you there. Atalanta Cagliari. I am assuming Atalanta
3-0.
wins it. I'll go 3-1. I'll go 3-1. Atalanta's
Retegui just gonna
kind of
keep
sloppy in
scoring goals,
defense. The
man.
lowest
Yeah.
letting a goal or two.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll go
Yep.
3-1.
Oh, this
Big game
next
number
game's gonna be
one.
painful, dude.
Lazio, Napoli. Napoli without Neres,
Napoli.
without Spinazzola.
You know what Conte's doing? He's doing exactly what he should do. He's gonna come out and go Catenaccio and get a 1-0 win. That's what
I
he's gonna
think
do.
that's the only way they're gonna win. I don't think they're gonna dominate
They're
him.
not gonna.
Lazio
Yeah.
is looking pretty good. They don't have really any big injuries. I think Lazio might even. Nah, I'm gonna go draw. I'm gonna go 1-1.
Well, for the last time these two teams played, Napoli tried to take it to him. Napoli's goal was to get out there, control the ball, create chances, and they just couldn't do it. I think Napoli, in a situation like this, with the team in the starting to fall off, they were pretty red hot, and a couple injuries, and now that the wind's coming out of their sails. Get back to what you did at the beginning of the year. Lock it down, hit them on the counter, get a dirty goal, win 1-0.
It's definitely the game that they should be doing this.
They know how to do this. They've done it for half a season. They started coming out of their shell right around the time that they saw Lazio the first time, and it was a little bit of a rough start coming, moving forward and playing a little differently. But they got on a fire, and now that fire's out. Go
I
back to what you
think
did at the
that's the
beginning.
way. I mean, Lazio is not a good defensive team this year. They've already let in 32 goals. That's actually some of the worst around there. So they're definitely a team you can catch out. So if you spread their defense out even more, yeah, you're gonna have some better shots at it.
Yeah, Lazio does struggle when teams park the bus. So get dirty, let the fans cry about it, get your points, move on. That's it.
Yeah,
Simple as that.
that is the way. But yeah, I'm gonna call it 1-1. Are you going 1-0 Napoli?
1-0 Napoli. I think
I
Napoli's
like
gonna
it.
get it. I do.
Milan Verona. I am not seeing Verona stop Milan's progress. I'm gonna see like a 3-1. I think
Yeah, I think
Milan
so
wins
too.
it relatively easily.
Yeah, I do too. I think Milan's. I think Juventus fans should worry about them more than any of the other teams. That's the biggest threat for the
Yeah, they're
um
if they are
champ.
they win their next game, I think they're only like 2 points behind, maybe.
They'll both be in. They'll let 5 teams be in. Watch.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but if they win their next game, Milan, like their rank up game, they're only
Yeah,
2 points behind. So they're definitely right in it. Fiorentina Como. Como's a pretty good team.
they are.
This is
Como
definitely
plays
what
hard.
Fiorentina's got to show their stuff to see if they actually have a shot at
Well,
top four right here. These are the games,
here's
man.
what I think, though. Here's what I think. I think that Fiorentina is a team that is attack-minded enough and the right times to take advantage of Como, who have been very naive defensively way too often this season. That's been their Achilles heel. Fabregas likes to possess the ball and do that modern shit, and it does cost him defensively. I think Fiorentina take this one 2-1.
I agree. I'm gonna go 2-1. This could definitely be a surprise based on how Como plays. They've got a few quite good players there right now who are bagging goals pretty regularly. I do think that Fiorentina is gonna pull it off. I'm excited to see what they run lineup wise. I think they have to get Kamutsu back in for Pongracic. I think Pongracic had a bad game last game out.
Pongracic is not a good player.
Um,
Kamutsa did well at right back, but yeah,
I just
Pongracic is
wonder
bad.
if they're gonna change formation entirely, go with like a 3-man at some point to
No,
incorporate all the midfielders. But it looks like Palladino did it a couple times, didn't work out the best, so he went back to 4-man.
something's up with that. I don't know. His defense just can't figure it out. His defenders just can't understand
Yeah,
how to do it because it should work based
right.
on the players they
In
have
theory, it should
just
work,
fine.
but
Yeah. I mean, you got Goodmanson and Keane up top. You have Dodo and Parisi as your
yeah,
wingbacks.
you can run all
Perfect.
day long.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, Gosens. Perfect. Awesome wingback there. Great.
Yeah, it's true.
Um, No idea why that's not
You can
working
run a
out.
three-man mid very easily. You have
Yeah,
Fagioli there, you have Folarunsho, you
oddly,
have
yeah,
Adli, Cataldi, Mandragora. You got a lot of players who can play in a three-man mid right there.
yeah.
It should work.
It
It
seems
kind
like
of
the
picks
most
itself,
obvious thing to
and
do.
it helps out Kopani as well. So like
Yeah,
really seems like it fits their team, but there's something with the back three, I think is all it is, because the rest of the team like just picks itself. It's really just something
well,
about that back three not being as organized.
yeah. The issue was I thought they at the beginning of the year they were trying the other Argentinian guy that I liked a lot. I wonder what happened with
Yeah, I'm
him.
not sure why he left. Martinez
Martinez
Cuarta. Yeah, I thought he
Cuarta.
was pretty good.
Yep. Yep. And then they obviously sold was a Milenkovic who was pretty decent, and then Pongracic
Yeah,
is
Milenkovic
whatever.
would
How
have
do you
been
say the
really,
damn name?
really good for that.
Yeah, yeah. Pongracic just
Milenkovic would have been
sucks.
very, very good in
Yeah,
back three.
exactly.
That's a poor sale.
Milenkovic with Ranieri
And Camuso, that's a
and
poor
Camuto.
sale.
That's excellent. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Milenkovic is very good. Yeah. Yeah,
What
that
do
was
they
a big
make off of
loss.
him? What because I mean it can't
Oh,
have been that
probably not
much,
much. No, not much. No, their big sale is going to be Gonzalez, and they net 40 million this summer.
right? Milenkovic, he
They
went
got 40
to
million coming in an obligation this summer.
Nottingham Forest.
Hmm.
He went for 12 mil. Oh come on, that's a bad sale.
It is, but they didn't really buy like they bought like Fagioli for 13 mil
I
payable in
know,
3
but 12 mil is
installments.
not like, oh yeah, we're gonna get a big
Yeah, it's a
prop.
bad
Come on.
sale. It's
All
a bad
right.
sale. All this amortization crap is just that. It's just crap.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't know.
all
Like,
crafty bookkeeping.
yeah, yeah.
Monza Lecce.
Wow. I don't know.
Nesta's back
Yeah.
at Monza. You see
Is he
that?
really? They
Right?
re-signed him?
I don't know if they already signed him, but did they all go through yet? Have they
Oh
fired Bocchetti
God.
or no?
That's so embarrassing. That's so embarrassing.
Yes, he's back. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Whoops.
Bocchetti was not the savior. They realized that Monza just sucks, and
Oh,
it's not the coach, because the
yeah.
team is awful.
So I'm very against mid-season coach firings. I truly am, unless it's an absolute
They should have just
disaster,
not let
which
him
I
go.
guess it
He's not
was.
gonna save the
Like,
team.
who the fuck was gonna come in there and save that team?
Nobody, man. Like you couldn't
Galliani knows what
even.
he's doing. Why would
Yeah.
he do that?
The fact that
Who's
they
gonna save that
offloaded
team?
so many players and never replaced
Yeah,
them, Monza was always
yeah,
only getting worse every season.
yes, exactly. Yep.
You can't
There's
just sell
nobody
every
saving that
season.
team. You can't make Nesta scapegoat. And it's just maybe in the first place, don't hire guys like Nesta. Don't hire guys like De Rossi. Like these, don't hire guys like Pirlo. This is not
Like
putting them in a
let them
position to
earn their
succeed.
stripes a little bit, and then
Yeah,
if you actually have like a serious task for them, then okay. But I mean, let them coach a few years. But I don't know.
these are crazy appointments. You know, like Conti had been to when Juventus took a big risk on him. He'd been to 4 clubs.
Yeah, but I mean, Monza is not Juve, right? Monza's a small team, so I
Well,
guess it's
no,
not that
yeah,
crazy.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah,
Monza's a
Monza's a
different
small
story.
team.
You're right.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's
Well,
just sad to see.
sometimes
Like
these
I
ex
liked
players,
Monza when they came up. It's just sad to see
eh,
them decline this fast because they just never buy and they only sell their good
just
players.
yeah, they sold that everybody who was any good.
Yeah, every year their best two
They even
three
got rid
players
of
are gone.
Maldini. They
Yeah,
just got rid of him after half the season.
yeah.
Ah, he
Maldini's
looks pretty good for
gone.
half the season.
Bondo's
See him
gone,
later. Yeah,
and
Bondo.
Juric. Their best three players gone.
Ridiculous. Yeah, ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. They're just not a serious. They don't want to stay up. They're just like, that was
No.
fun. We did Serie A
Um,
for a couple seasons. Bye. Udinese
Udinese
Empoli.
Empoli. I think Udinese wins this one. I'm gonna go
I don't.
2-1.
I go 2-1 the other way. Empoli's going to get back on track.
Well, it depends. If Goglekidze
Empoli,
plays, they might lose
oh
it.
my God, dude.
As I know
He's
we
so
were talking about
bad.
this last time. I didn't want to be so harsh on him, but if you guys watched the Milan game, it changed when he had to sub on because of I think it was injury maybe, but yeah, he had to sub on, and that's also when the match changed. So
Can This is a great example of people not knowing what they're talking about. I'm talking about the people in the media. How this guy got hyped up. Like, just let the kid be a kid and learn and play.
you're gonna
I,
ruin this kid's development
yeah.
because now like even us we're scrutinizing him, and maybe I should stop, but like because
No, who
Milan was
cares?
linked and Juve had been linked, like this what happens, but like
Yeah.
you're just gonna make him like feel like total shit now,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah. He has zero defensive abilities. I don't give. I'm so sick of people showing me talking about another defender. Oh, this guy, and he has no defensive abilities. It's all his progressive passing. Who gives a shit? can he defend first? Oh, he can also pass forward.
Yeah,
That's brilliant.
exactly. Yeah, the
Okay.
criteria should be, can he defend first,
Yeah. Can he defend first? It's like these keepers. Can they stop a shot first?
right?
You
Or
know,
can
like
they
like
just play the ball with their feet? Yeah.
who is Como's keeper? He was brought in for his amazing uh work with his feet. That kid's a terrible keeper.
He's young though, right? Or no, isn't he now?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know. I don't know who the hell he is.
But he
But
hasn't
I
been good,
you
that's
know,
for sure.
no, they said they
Because
brought him in because he's great with his feet. I'm like, oh well, he's certainly not a good keeper, so he must be amazing with his feet. He wasn't even. He was nervous. You know, it's a big game. But yeah, it was like let's do your job first. Let's be good at what you're actually supposed to be good at first, and then if you have an extra ability, that's
yeah,
great.
but this is how it goes. Like somebody has a couple good games in a row, people get pretty hyped. Price goes up, somebody buys
Yeah,
them. It's kind of, as I said,
exactly.
they
It's
sell
the
hype
hype
up and potential.
hype machine.
Um,
Yeah, he must have a good rating in FIFA or whatever it is. That's probably why
maybe
people like him so much.
Roma
He must have a
Parma.
good 5-star. Roma
Let's
Parma.
push through this one. Roma Parma. I don't know, man. I mean, I
Roma,
think
no,
Roma's
Roma's
gonna
definitely
pull it
gonna be
off.
Parma. Parma's defense blows.
Yeah, I think they're gonna pull it off. Roma will surprise you
Yeah,
though with like they'll lay an egg randomly. I don't think this is the game. I think Roma's gonna beat them.
yeah.
I think I'm actually
I
gonna
do
go
too.
gonna go 2-0. I think it's gonna be a
I
not very eventful game, but I don't think Parma's gonna create that much.
I know. I'm with you on the 2-0.
Okay,
Definitely.
game of the week: Juve Inter.
Oh man, the derby, Merida versus the Exor Zebras.
I
Ah
think
man,
I think Juve wins. I think they win 2-1.
they gotta win.
I think they win 2-1.
Juventus. So last game, so Juventus is when they met last time, struggling, poop team. Don't know what the hell they're doing week in and week out. Inter, chugging along, best team in Serie A. Inter gets up. They were taking it to them. Inter was taking it to Juve, and Simone Inzaghi gets greedy and he keeps going. He keeps going. He's gonna hang 7 on them. It just didn't work out like that. A great out of body experience from Yildiz turned things around. Um, I think that Juventus edges this one out 2-1.
So you're going on similar prediction. Yeah,
Two
I
to
mean
one.
Juve looks like they're starting to put some wins together. It's a bit early to say yet.
Well,
In
they've been playing pretty shitty in all their games, and
yeah,
I
but they've been
think that
squeaking them
Inter,
out. Wins build confidence though.
yes, Inter either plays like shit or they play really well. So it
I
all
I
depends what
actually
kind of
think
Inter you
Inter has
get.
kind of been falling off lately, personally.
They have been.
Like
They
I
have been.
even their win where they definitely looked better against Fiorentina, the last 30 minutes were just not great.
I mean, it was a
They
pretty
seemed.
convincing win. No,
I did not think the last several minutes were convincing. Fiorentina started to kind of
not the
take
last
over.
several minutes.
Last like 20,
Yeah,
30
you're right.
minutes.
Yeah, no, you're right.
It
You're right.
wasn't
Yeah.
great. They really need
Yeah.
Shahanoglu to be back strong full force because their midfield looks a lot weaker without him.
Well, Thuram went off with some kind of injury.
That's right. Turam's off too.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
he back
So
or is
that's
that gonna last a few weeks?
well for Serie A's sake. I hope he's not back, but for Thuram's sake and Champions League's sake, I hope he is. I don't know. I don't follow the injury, and who knows with these guys, anyways. I mean, they'll take a broken nail, and they'll be out for 2 months. So I don't know. I mean, I
Yeah.
grew up watching a lot of different sports. Injuries in this sport are just 10 times more serious, I guess.
I do not know how long he'll be out, but I guess we'll see. We'll see
Yeah,
if he'll be back for that game or not. But yeah,
yeah,
I think Juve pulls it off. Genoa versus
yeah.
Venezia. I think Genoa pulls it off. I think Vieira's been doing well. I think maybe like another similar, like a 2-1, 3-1. I think it's gonna be something close-ish,
One
but Genoa
nothing
will pull
Genoa.
it off.
1-0 Genoa.
I dig it. You want to do a little Champions League look because it's happening right now?
Yeah,
All right, so
definitely.
Champions League right now we had what Juve played today. You
Yes,
see that game?
sloppy. Yeah. Yep,
Sloppy,
definitely.
but pulled it off.
Yeah. So once again, it's like I will say this: super glad they didn't run Coop Miners. Coop Miners did not play. Came out as a sub, a horrible sub. Our team was much better with him off the field. Luis was okay. We have a very low standard for midfield right now. Our midfield is really bad. I think Thuram is our best midfielder, and that's not saying a lot because I think Thuram is a good player. He has some room to grow. I don't think he'll be great. He just doesn't have the technical ability. He's just a big, strong guy, and that's sometimes all you need. And especially um, around a team of a bunch, all our midfielders are slow. Luis is slow. Locatelli is slow. Coop Miners is slow. It's nice having Thuram out there, but Luis actually showed some ability to have. Well, we said this before. He does have technical ability. He's just really slow. He takes a long time to move the ball. Locatelli is an average player that's playing very well this year. Our best players, Gatti and McKennie. So Gatti, people can shit on Gatti all they want, but he's made more. He's gotten more out of his progressive runs. The attack minded Federico Gatti, the modern defender that we
So you
have,
thought Gatti had a pretty good game there.
he
Obviously,
did. He was
I
awesome.
saw the highlights and I can't watch like a defender in highlights that much, but McKennie obviously
Yeah,
had a pretty good game. But so
yeah,
you
McKennie was
thought
good.
Gatti was good and McKennie were good there.
Yeah, McKennie just plays hard. Gonzalez sucked. Yildiz didn't have a very good game. Muani's okay. He moved in and out. Like I said, he doesn't do as much off the ball as I thought he would. I mean, he makes he, he does things that strikers should do. I mean, Vlahovic was doing those things too. The difference is when Muani's got the ball on his feet, he's been bearing it. That is massive difference. So that's been good. But I don't really think he got a lot of chances to do that today. Vega looked better today. He's been a positional disaster, but he was really good today. Um, Kelly blows.
Yeah, you
Wea
just see
was
his
good.
reading on the Perisic goal. Like,
He,
what are you doing,
yeah,
man? Like, are you really worried about Perisic trapping it and beating it on the outside? That's what you're worried about?
yeah, he's such a bad player. I don't understand why we paid 18 million for him.
It's just
He was
way
one of
more
the
sour because you
permanents.
know that you let go of Heisen, who is going to be a future world class player. He's already actually pretty close, so it's
Oh,
great.
it's that is true, but that I don't the Heisen thing doesn't even factor into this. There are
Yeah,
a
it's the
bunch of
weird
players
timings.
you could have bought to play that position that you could have
You,
bought for cheaper. And like he wanted this player.
yeah,
This
it's
is a
kind of
player
strange.
that Juntali like just was gushing over. He was trying to get him like last year.
Mm.
This just shows how bad he is at his job. It's crazy. He's so bad. I don't get it. But yeah, yeah, ugly game, but
Yeah,
I'll take it.
no, I
And
mean it
and
was
who scores? Bangula, the next gen guy.
yeah.
Sell him. Get
Oh
rid of
yeah,
him.
they'll probably sell him because I make those pure capital gains, right?
Yeah,
They're gonna
we
love
should
it.
pay 40. Yeah, then pay 40 million for Nico Gonzalez, who's having a bad season, very bad season.
It was
I actually thought he'd be
a
better.
really nice run from whatchamacallit, from Conte Sally. Just kind of the same thing, blew it on the
Yeah,
byline. Hey, he didn't cut in this time, right? He actually went the other
he
way,
didn't.
blew by, and it worked,
Hmm.
right? He got the rebound,
Yep.
and Mangula right place, right time, and didn't make a mistake with the finish. So
He's very dangerous against these kinds of teams.
for
Against
sure,
PSV, he has definitely a quality gap between him and the guy he's going against.
yep.
It's when he plays against, and the thing is, like, there's not a lot of good. I think we were talking about this off stream last week, but there's are there good side are there side backs that can play defense anymore? This is a
Not many.
forget about the search for Bernabe.
I can't find you
The
one who's just gonna be
Falconeer.
like a defensive lockdown,
Yeah,
dude.
please tell me in the comments or whatever on X who is if you can tell me a good side back that can actually defend properly. I want to know because
no,
like
no, dude.
people were concerned about playing way up. Like, what's the difference?
No, it
What's the
doesn't even
what's the
matter.
difference? These
Doesn't even
guys
matter.
can't defend to save their lives. So just might as well throw a winger back there.
The
The
main
hell with it.
criteria nowadays for good side back is can they attack, can they cross, can they bang in a couple
Yeah.
goals here and there. That's it.
Yep,
So
exactly. And quite frankly, I mean, we've seen guys like Zambrota drop back. I mean, I'm not comparing them, but like it's not crazy to have wingers drop back and play side back.
yeah.
So I'm fine with it.
Let's do our
What else happened?
previews for what's about to happen. I guess it's today now,
Milan's coming up,
but
right?
yep, you got
Yeah.
Atlanta and Milan are going to be
Who's
playing
who does Atalanta play?
Club Bruges
Oh God, they're
at
gonna destroy Bruges.
at Bruges. I don't think so. I think Bruges has been a
What?
weirdly stubborn team. I think Atlanta pulls it off 2-1.
Really?
I don't think they're going to destroy them. Yeah, Bruges has been a weirdly scrappy team this Champions League so far.
I think against
It
Milan
surprised a
and
lot of people.
Juve. I think against Milan and Juve that is totally correct. I think against Atalanta they don't care, and these are the teams Atalanta blows out. That's my opinion on that. I could be wrong here, but I think Atalanta blows out teams like Bruges, and then I think they lose because they don't know how to defend against teams that are better than them.
I mean,
I don't
I
think they
I
can
could definitely see
outplay
that. I could definitely see it happening for sure, but I just have a feeling it's not gonna be like a total blowout game.
2-0 Atalanta.
With that
Or,
scoreline,
or-
I'm gonna go
what is
2-1, but we'll both go that.
Alright.
Milan
Well,
play. Oh, go
you're
ahead.
probably right because Atalanta can't keep the ball out of their net, even against Monza. They let one in, so yeah,
Yeah, and I don't think they've been like remarkable in Champions League. You know,
yeah.
they
No,
well,
that's
but
true.
nothing amazing.
No, they played some
They
good
done well.
matches.
It's all gonna come down to Retegui if he can keep strong form here.
No,
But
to
if
me, it
if
all
he has a little
depends
bit of
in
an off
Champions League
game,
if they can actually fucking defend for one game, just one game, just play like give me some defense. They can score, man. They put goals up on everybody. They just can't defend when it actually matters. And this is why I don't think Gasperini should be coaching a major club. I think he's perfect right where he is. I
is
love the way that Atalanta is, and that's how Atalanta should be.
Lookman's not back yet, is he? He should
I don't
hopefully
think
be
so.
back by the second
I
game,
don't
though.
know.
I think he'll be back by the
These
second game.
injuries, I never know until they walk out into the
Game
tunnel.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. These guys.
Second and last game, the second game of the Champions League for the Italian teams today, and the last game we'll be covering today is Milan versus Feyenoord. I think Milan wins this one. I don't think it's maybe going to be a total cakewalk, but I do think that they should do well. I mean, you never know. Milan will surprise you this season. I think with Milan taking Feyenoord's best player in Jimenez, that's a big loss for Feyenoord and quite a big game for Milan. So I do think they're going to win. I'm going to go like
That's what I was
a
gonna say.
2-0.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, you took their best player. That team's probably toast now, unless they're really mad.
Well, they also sacked their coach. So, and you can say like if
Oh, that's messy.
some people do like, oh, they'll get like the new coach burst for a second. I think it's
No,
actually the opposite. I think it's going to get a little sloppy. Now their coach is gone, their best player is gone. I actually think it's not going to be a good thing for them. So I'm assuming Milan's going to make it through this. You just don't know what Milan because they'll string together two good games and they'll lay an egg. But I'm thinking that with their new signings, they're going to be a little bit more
no.
consistent.
Milan does not get knocked out by Feyenoord. I'm
No, they're not going
sorry.
to get knocked out by
If they do,
Feyenoord.
shame on them. So no, they're gonna go through. I think it's gonna be 2-0.
I think Milan wins
Maybe
too.
more. Maybe more.
It could.
I don't. What an amazing lucky draw the Italian team's got. How about that?
Yeah, honestly, it's actually really good, right? I mean,
Yeah.
nobody has
Real,
some crazy hard draw. I mean, Real Madrid drew Man City. I mean,
yeah.
that's
No. Man City or Real won.
no, I know, but I mean, they drew them in the
Oh,
pot.
they drew him. Oh,
Yeah,
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 yeah. I
yeah.
see.
No, yeah. Real
Gotcha.
pulled it off.
Yeah,
Did you see
sorry.
that
12
end of that
3.
game though?
No, no. I was.
It's
Yeah, I
good.
had to make my choice. You know.
It's good. You should watch the highlights. Real Madrid just has a habit of just pulling things off in Champions League. It's just, I think they were down 2-0 at one point. I could
Well, I
be
mean,
wrong, but yeah,
that's what they're built for. I mean, it's
yeah,
literally like a gazillion-dollar team. Both these teams are the most egregious spenders. Uh, it's like they're looking in a mirror, and Real Madrid has been doing it longer. They're just better at
yeah.
it. Sorry,
They've got the pedigree.
you know, they
Well,
do. It's what it is.
that's how we'll wrap it up. I
That's
guess
how
we'll
the
kind of
cookie
end it.
crumbles.
Yep, that's how the cookie will crumble today.
Did it all
Um,
for the cookie.
thank you everybody for watching, and Forza Barnabe. Ciao.